I went through all the recruiters, and all the recruiters do this, Korn Ferry, Spencer Stewart, Ferguson Associates, probably one of the biggest ones, puts books out about what it takes and what they're looking for in hiring a CFO for a publicly traded company. And I'm like, this is amazing information. So from that, I developed a checklist of all the things I needed to accomplish in order to be at least considered for a CFO down the road. So what I did was live my career by this checklist for the most part. And I would tell you, corporations, they tend to try to silo you, right? So you come in, senior accountant, we're going to promote you to a manager, we're going to give you more money, and director, we're getting more money and give you options. And they sort of force you sort of the siloed approach, where when I developed this checklist, what was very clear to me is they wanted a broad diversity of experience. And that meant moving around to different areas. So as I was trying to be pushed up through the organization, I resisted them and resisted getting more money to get a broader exposure to experience, which was tax, finance, M&A, FP&A, and all the critical areas that I felt were, and what the recruiters were telling me were critical to be a CFO. So I did that. So phase one was all about the checklist. Phase two came to more leadership style. What that really does is understanding your own self, but also understanding, and this takes a little bit of a difficult assessment of yourself, your strengths and your weaknesses, right? And we all have them. And when you start to manage people in your 30s, you really have to think about the team that surrounds you, and not only people that supplement your strength and weakness, but also the strength and weakness of the team itself. So why is that important? Well, when it comes to organizations and they're looking for teams to evaluate strategic acquisitions or alternatives, you want to be the one that they come to. You want to be the one that they ask your team to solve the problem. And that was extremely important to me because being integral to the organization was critical. Then stage three, which I put into like the more softer bucket, but also they overlap a little bit when you think about it realistically. But this was more about developing relationships, looking for mentors for myself, and also being a mentor for others. And I had a CEO who at EQR who used to say to me, Donna, stop picking up the phone to make that call and ask the question. Go meet with that person on a one-on-one basis and start to develop your relationships with these people, because guess what? People you meet in your 30s and 40s are people who you're going to do deals with in your 50s, or may recommend you for boards or do other things together, deals together, for example. And so I spent a lot of time in this particular area. And I think a lot of people, not just men or women, do not spend enough time in developing these relationships. And I'll tell you, the truth of the matter is, people that I deal with today, Sharon, by one, is, what we met 30 years ago, 40 years ago, I don't even know. I don't want to recommend. But we still stay in touch with each other. And I have a lot of other friends that do that as well. So I managed my career in much more in an analytical fashion. And I had to approach starting from 21 to finish.